Hello everyone, this is Thag with Thag's Dino Reviews and Paleopolitics, and I want to thank you for finding your way back to the show. And today we have a real beauty, Mattel's Hammond Collection Allosaurus from the Battle of Big Rock, and it is a really beautiful model. However, before that, there's one thing I want to talk about, and that's my cause celeb. Now, as most of you know, I loathe the practice of selling dinosaur skeletons at auction. I think the practice is deplorable. They do not belong in the living room of rich elites around the world, but rather in museums for all to enjoy and where they can be studied in perpetuity by scientists. 2024 was not a good year for dinosaur skeletons at auction. There were 5 major dinosaur skeletons sold during the year, the first of which was Apex the Stegosaurus, which sold for an incredible $44 million. Apex was a real loss for science because not only was it one of the largest stegosaurs, it was also one of the most complete, with at least 80% of the bones there. I believe there could have been huge amounts of information gathered from Apex in the way of phylogeny, ontogeny, allometry, and even where they found it, taphonomy. I mean, there was just that much information to be had. Apex sold in July in New York City. Now, the next dinosaur up was a Diplodocus by the name of Vulcane. It was an adult. It was about 69 feet long, and again, they claimed it was 80% complete. Again, I could not find a lot of information on this animal. It was from the Morrison Formation, and it had something was unusual about this. To have such a large percentage of bones in place, I guess. Anyway, it sold for $5 million in Paris. All right, the next 3 skeletons all sold at the same auction at the same time. Even though they were bid individually. Up first is an adult Allosaurus. Very good mount. I really liked it. It went for $5 million. Next up was a subadult Stegosaurus, also a good mount, and it went for $5 million. The last animal was a juvenile Allosaurus, and it went for also $5 million. Of the 3 skeletons that sold at London, clearly the juvenile Allosaurus was the big loss of information. There was a number of subdisciplines that could have gained tremendous amount of data just from that single skeleton. And unfortunately, at this point, I believe it is lost. In conclusion, the 5 skeletons that were sold in 2024, one in New York, one in Paris, and 3 in London, the aggregate total of US dollars spent to purchase these skeletons was approximately $64 million. And again, to me, this is just robbing science. It's elite people that have a whole lot of discretionary income and really don't know what to do with it. And it's wrong. I'm sorry, but it's wrong. Anyway, I'm hoping that the year 2025 will wind up being better and start to see some sort of a reversal in this trend. Anyway, now back to our review. Okay, today's model is Mattel's Hammond Collection Allosaurus, and once again Mattel has delivered. Okay, let's start with the skull. It is an excellent sculpt. There is little or no shrink wrap. The dentition looks great. It's laterally compressed and recurved. The eye is perfect, or at least the best one yet. And the scalation and the dermal spines on the skull are terrific, as well as the brow horns. The dermal spines continue across the back of the skull and down the neck. The interior of the mouth is completely finished out with a well-sculpted tongue, the roof of the mouth, and the cheek pouches. And all of it is painted a deep reddish pink. Dermal spines, the osteoderms, and the scalation continue across the trunk of the body. We see the scalation and the counter shading continuing along the torso, down the arms, and down the legs. Both the manus and the pes have armored scales, and the unguals are painted a semi-gloss black. The spinal and osteoderms and the counter shading continue to the end of the tail. The color coat of dark gray continues about 3/4 of the way. In conclusion, this is one top flight model that belongs in your collection. Mattel has done it again, and they will continue to do it again. To be honest, I'm no longer interested in any of their products except the Hammond Collection, and I hope that they will continue it. I've heard some minor complaints about this. Who cares? This model is worth every cent. I paid $35 for this. It's worth every cent of that and more. And I can only hope that in the future Mattel continues down this path. Anyway, this is Thag for Thag's Dino Reviews and Paleopolitics, and I'll catch you on the rebound. All right, I made you look good. No, don't thank me.